Hi guys, welcome to Prima's webinar series. My name's Andrew and today we'll be covering automated sales invoices. Automated sales invoices are a really good way of making sure that you get your invoices out to your customers as soon as they need them, whenever they kind of desire, straight away, automatically with no automatic intervention. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. Before you start actually rolling out your automated invoices, you'll just need to make sure you've got a few things in place to make sure that your companies are set up, to make sure that it all works fine. So in Prima, if you go to the company on the left and then do your company grid manager, when you click on that, your grid manager will pop up. And in here, what you'll see is you've got a few different kind of options to choose on. At the very bottom, you've got an invoice date profile. So in this invoice date profile, you'll be interested here with things like your monthly, your weekly, your fortnightly, and also your standard invoices. To make sure your automated invoicing works correctly, you need to make sure that your next invoice date is actually correct. For example, with your monthly ones, more often than not, people will want their next invoice date to be the very end of the month. So if you can search on your invoice date profile of monthly and run a search through there, in the change tab at the very top, you can make sure that their invoice date profile is set to monthly. And at the very end, just make sure it's set to the end of the month. That basically just ensures that when the invoices run through, when we do the automation schedule, that the actual setup is all correct and their invoices will go out at the end of the month, rather than, say, the middle of the month, obviously causing you guys issues and more admin work. Once you've done that for your monthlies, your fortnightlies, your weeklies, obviously if there's anyone that's standard that requires invoice at the end of the month, you can apply that in your grid manager just in the bottom right, and then close out of that. And once that's been done, that's essentially the base setup in terms of the actual system to make sure that people have got the schedules ready to go in place. So the automated invoice in itself then is controlled via Prima's administration. So I'll just switch to that screen now. And in here, we can then go into administration and then automation. So in the automation on the left hand side then, what you'll see in here is you've got an auto invoice schedule. As you can see here, we've got a couple of different schedules already set up, so you can have multiple if you want to. But in this instance, we're just going to want to set up a brand new invoice schedule. So click Set Invoice Schedule at the very bottom of the screen. I'll just drag it to this side for us so we can see. And what you can see now is you've got a few different screens, and maybe a little bit confusing, but it's nothing to worry about. So if you've already got schedules in here, obviously they will be listed. But if you don't, this will just be blank. And what you can do at the very bottom is to click New, and that'll pop through. So the first thing that we are going to actually take a look at is our option. We really strongly suggest setting this one as by company profile. Setting it as something like all available lines, ignoring any profiles, would ignore those invoice profiles that we've just set through the grid manager, basically meaning that any lines that are currently in your invoice available lines, regardless of company status, regardless of whether it's monthly or weekly, would be running through. So what we can do then is, as you normally would do with your normal invoicing process, is to do by company profile at the very top. So you can click by company profile, and that's that setting done. From here then, we can then move into the depot. So say for example, if you've got multiple depots, you would have to set this up per depot. With our database here, we've only got the one, so we're only setting this up for our headquarters. So we tick the headquarters option, and that'll then go through. Beneath here, we've then got our options then for our invoice medium. So you can select your invoice mediums at the very bottom here, so whether it's email letter, physical, phone, depending on the company setup, that's what you might have. By default, the vast majority of people will want email and letter, and letter. Just below that, you've then got the option to actually complete the invoice. So as part of the automated invoicing process, you can choose whether you want Prima to actually raise up your invoices and leave them outstanding, or whether you want Prima to raise up your invoices and then complete them. So by ticking our complete invoice here, that means that our invoices would be raised up and would be completed and posted over to your financial system once your next automation runs through. On the right hand side then, we've got a couple more tick options in here. So these are things like if you use support contracts or cash sales that you don't have marked as externally paid, or also prepaid, which isn't really a heavily used one, so nothing too much to worry about there. The top two that you probably would be interested in are your support contracts and your unpaid cash sales. If you do use support contracts and you'd like those to be included, or if you're heavy on your cash sales that are unpaid, so you want to bill them still, you can tick those two options just at the top. Once you're happy with that, you then click Save, and that'll pop in then just as below into your top list. From there, what you can then do, like you would do with an automated report, you can click this button on the right hand side that says Add Schedule. So if I click on that Add Schedule button, what this can now do is you can now actually see on your schedule how often you want this automation to run through. So essentially, if you want it to run every day, or once a week, or once a month, you can actually set it in here. So for example, I might want my automated kind of invoicing to run every week on every Monday. So I'll untick those and just leave it like that. So it's going to be starting on today's date and it'll be running through at 9:30 every Monday for every week from then on. Ticking it as enabled in the bottom right, I can then click save and that's that job done. From there, if you do have multiple depots, you'll just have to click new at the bottom right and then obviously just reset this up for your secondary or third depots, anything like that, and obviously just make sure you're saving as you go. Once you're happy with that, you can either just save or close out. If you are interested in your automated invoicing, just wanted to make sure whether it's kind of been complete or anything like that, such as a last run date, you can just see that in above there. So you can see these two are now test ones, have ran on the 15th of September at 9:43. You can also see obviously further information about whether your invoice will be completed on that run, whether it'll be left outstanding or anything like that, and that'll all be left at the top there. So from there, that's essentially the base setup of the automated invoicing, nice and simple, nice and straightforward. The other thing that you may want to do as part of this, given that it's all automated, you may want to do automated emails, so making sure that your actual invoice reports are sent out as part of this automation. So what you can do for this is you can go back into the admin and then you can do system keys, and then if we just go down just to report system keys, you just want to make sure that your third setting in there is actually then set to yes. So this basically is a setting just to make sure that you can automatically email invoices and credits to customers that have the invoice medium set to email when they're set to posted. So that's essentially just going to make sure that when you're actually setting your automation up, anyone that's got that email, when that automation completes those invoices, those emails will be automatically sent out. So it means you don't have to worry about going in, emailing them out, adding in that extra step to make it a manual job. Prima can take care of the full thing for you, and that'll be your job done. So all you'd have to do on that one is on the drop down, just change that to yes, save and close, and that's the additional step just popped in there. That pretty much covers the basis for automated invoicing. We do have a help guide on our help site covering the rest of this in a written text. But if you do have any other questions or anything like that, just get in touch with our customer care team who will be more than happy to help and go through the setup. If you've got any questions about how it works, what it might mean for you, whether it would work for you as a business, just call in, email in or use the live chat. We'll be more than happy to help. Have a great day and we hope to see you for the next webinar. Bye guys.